Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're just stuck? Like you're running on a treadmill, playing out the exact same loops, reacting the exact same way to stress, and constantly feeling like you're just barely surviving instead of actually living? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're diving into a really powerful journey laid out in the INHer Alignment Workbook by Tawney Noriega. We're going to map out exactly how to break out of those exhausting survival loops and step into what she calls expansion mode. We'll dig into the actual neuroscience behind our patterns, figure out how to map our internal landscape, and most importantly, talk about how to become your own healer. So let's get into it. Okay, we need to kick things off with a massive truth bomb right here. You are not broken, you're not behind, and you are definitely not hard to fix. The workbook makes this so incredibly clear right from page 1. You know, so often when we get caught up in self-sabotaging behaviors or we're just emotionally tapped out, we tend to layer a whole bunch of shame right on top of it. We convince ourselves that there's something fundamentally wrong with us. But the reality, you're honestly just unpracticed at being with yourself. You don't need fixing, you really just need practice.
And that realization brings us to this beautifully empowering core premise. You are the one you've been waiting for. Your clarity, your peace, your direction, it all comes from you. It doesn't come from a life coach or an online course or another person. The answers you're so desperately looking for are already sitting right inside of you. So this explainer is really all about giving you the framework to uncover that part of you that already knows exactly what to do.
Section 1. The Science of Survival. Why we get stuck in loops. It all starts right here. The human brain is quite literally a pattern-making machine. Its main job is to maximize efficiency by automating our repeated behaviors, thoughts, and emotional responses. And here's something completely wild. By the time you were just 7 years old, your brain had basically written the entire operating system you'd use for decades. You just absorbed messaging from your environment without the ability to critically filter it out. And those early imprints, they created your default responses to stress. You know, those automatic survival mechanisms we always hear about. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Your brain simply prioritized short-term safety over long-term growth. And over time, the more you repeated those patterns, the more ingrained they became, basically trapping us in these loops. But hey, here is the good news. And honestly, you're way out of the loop. Neuroplasticity. This is genuinely one of the most exciting discoveries in modern neuroscience. It's your brain's objective, scientific ability to change and rewire itself. So while your old survival patterns might feel like they are permanently hardwired into your personality, they aren't. Through consistent awareness and practice, you can intentionally disrupt those automatic reactions. You have the actual power to forge brand new neural pathways, which totally removes the shame of feeling stuck, right? Because you aren't permanently stuck, your brain just needs a new set of instructions. Section 2. Exploring your pain points, facing the uncomfortable truths. I want to take a quick pause here and ask you directly. What recurring patterns create pain points in your life? Is it that classic 3 a.m. anxiety spiral? Or maybe the instinct to completely shut down the second an argument starts? Look, patterns don't just magically appear out of thin air. They're built up through repeated reactions. The areas of your life that cause you the most pain or keep you feeling stagnant and resistant, those are your survival loops in action. By just bringing awareness to them without beating yourself up about it, you actually create your entry point for breaking free. Now, sometimes it's really tough to spot these patterns, so let's look at what they actually sound like in our heads. These are some super common survival mode thoughts pulled from the workbook. Things like, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do, or I'm always behind. Things never change for me. Everything is just too hard. If you find yourself playing these on a loop, please recognize that this isn't the ultimate truth of who you are. It's simply the voice of an overloaded nervous system trying to protect you. It's a survival mechanism that's leaning heavily on fear and scarcity just to keep you safe from perceived threats. Section 3. Tapping into expansion. Creating your internal map. Let's map out this internal duality we all have. On one side, we have survival mode. Fear, scarcity, overwhelm, doubt, exhaustion. Sound familiar? But on the flip side, we have expansion mode. Trust, joy, abundance, clarity, confidence. The workbook makes a really crucial point here. You have always had access to this expansion mode. You've definitely felt it before in those fleeting moments of total clarity or inspiration or when you're just completely in the flow. Expansion is not some distant treasure you need to hunt for. It's an energy you already possess. We just have to practice tapping into it a bit more often. And naturally, whatever energy we're in dictates how we behave. Let's look at the actions. Survival actions look like avoiding challenges, isolating yourself from friends, or overworking until you're basically a walking zombie. Expansion actions, however, look like communicating openly, setting healthy boundaries, and actually trusting your own gut decisions. The big takeaway here is this. When you can clearly see these contrasting actions side by side, you give yourself a choice. You can literally observe your own behavior in real time and ask, wait, is this action coming from my survival mode or my expansion mode? You get to consciously direct the show. Section 4, Bridging the Gap, Navigating the Space in Between. So how do we actually make the leap? The workbook gives us this brilliant 5-step framework for exactly what to do when you feel yourself getting sucked back into a survival loop. Step 1, awareness. Just notice your thoughts and the physical tension in your body, completely without judgment. Step 2, pause and breathe. Create a little buffer space to regulate that nervous system. Step 3, use your systems. We'll dive into this in just a second, but these are your go-to soothing tools. Step 4, shift focus. Process whatever you're feeling with some serious self-compassion. And finally, step 5, conscious choice. Ask yourself what aligned action actually feels right. This right here is where you reclaim your power, moving away from a knee-jerk reaction and stepping into an intentional, expansive choice. Let's zoom in on step 3 for just a second. What does it actually mean to use your systems? Well, these are concrete, real-world tools you can lean on to literally soothe your nervous system when everything feels like it's a bit too much. We're talking deep breathing, like the 4-7-8 method, grounding techniques, which could literally just be walking barefoot in the grass, gratitude journaling, getting out into nature, or doing a real digital detox. And yes, that means physically leaving your phone in another room. Having these systems pre-planned means that when your survival brain kicks in and tries to convince you the sky is falling, you have an immediate physical way to remind your body, hey, we are safe. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really profound thought straight from the source material. Pain and possibility coexist. Doing this work isn't about ignoring your pain or shaming it or pretending you can magically erase your survival mode overnight. It's about holding both the pain and the immense possibility at the exact same time. It's about knowing yourself fully, the whole shebang. So, as you move through the rest of your day, the question isn't whether you're going to face challenges, because you will, but rather, are you going to let the pain take the wheel and dictate your reality, or are you going to let possibility drive?